I'll tell you exactly what he means. For one day I stepped in spirit, into a room, and here, dining, family of 4. 2 boys in their 20s, early 20s, and father and mother. And coming through the door is a lady bearing food to the table. Through the huge big glass window, I could see birds in flight. I could see the ripple of the grass as the wind blew it. I could see leaves falling. Other diners didn't attract me, but they were diners, but they didn't attract me. The waitress attracted me, and this table of 4, that attracted me, and the other things that I've just mentioned. And at that moment, while I'm looking at the 4 of them, something in the depths of my soul knew that if I could arrest in me an activity that I felt, everything would freeze. I no sooner knew it than I tried it, and I felt something gel in my head. At that moment that it gelled and froze in me, everything there froze. And the waitress walking, walked not. And the diners dining, dined not. I can see the face now of the young lad. He has a spoon in his hand, he was drinking soup. And he came this far with his mouth expecting it, and he couldn't move it. And the waitress could not walk. And the bird in flight was arrested, and it couldn't fall. And the leaves falling couldn't fall. And suddenly I'm looking at a world that is dead. Everything is dead. And where was the life of it? In me. Now a bird in flight, if arrested, should fall to the ground if the law that we speak of gravity, is in operation. But the bird didn't fall. And the leaves, all right, unless some other pressure equal to it, kept it alive or kept it afloat, but not the bird. The waitress, yes, if she is arrested, she doesn't have to fall. But she was frozen, as though she were made of clay. They could have been made of clay. And then I released the activity that I had arrested. As I did so, each continued in their course. And the waitress walked, and he completed the action of drinking his soup. And the bird, which was perfectly still, continued the action of flight. And the leaves continued to fall. And once more, all became animated. But that's what he meant. Eternity exists. And all things in eternity independent of creation, which was an act of mercy. And so we are inserted into this dead body, this eternal death. And then we animate it. And eventually we will come out of it with life in ourselves. For we are told as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son also to have life in himself. And the purpose of it all is to simply awaken sons who have life in themselves, and not simply animated parts of the structure of the universe. One day, a lady asked me concerning animals. Well, I didn't know the answer. She said, Neville, what is the future evolution of the animal world? I am very fond of animals, and I hate to see them destroyed. So what is the future evolution of the animal? Well, I didn't know the answer. I could have given her some theory, but I could not speak then from experience. 2 nights later, I find myself at the top of a ladder. And looking down, here is the jungle. Wild beasts, I mean really wild. Tiger, lion, panther, everything that is really what you would call the wild beast of the jungle. And they're in an angry mood. The whole thing is moving. Strong, shoving beast. I am alone at the top of a ladder. At the moment, I'm a little bit apprehensive and a little concerned for my own safety. And as I was concerned and apprehensive, they became all the more angry. Then in the depths of my soul, again I knew, as though something whispered, but no one whispered, I knew that they were only externalized emotions of myself. That they simply bore witness of my own emotions. When I lost all fear, they became docile, like house cats. Then I went further. As I would now repeat it, I will arrest within me the activity that makes them alive. And once more, I arrested it. And in my head it gelled. I went down that entire ladder. They were made of clay. When I say clay, they were solid, just as though I walked into a museum and saw these things carved beautifully by some great sculptor. That's what they were, all dead. And then I went back up the ladder, released this activity, and once more they came into animation, and they moved, like living beasts of the jungle. So I know from experience today, the whole vast world, as Blake said, all that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. And I know it. I've experienced it. So I tell you, if you haven't experienced it, you're going to. Well, that's the purpose of being here. And you will find the whole thing is within you. It's not out there at all. And me, if you would like me to be improved beyond what I seem to be in your eyes now, and in your own mind's eye, make me all the greater, if that's what you want for me. If you want me to come back next year bringing something far deeper than this here, see me in that light. Don't do it with my consent, do it without my consent, if that's your desire for me. If my desire for you, knowing that you may be limited, is to see you free of this limitation, without your knowledge, without your consent, I should, knowing the difference between you and states, I should create the state I want to see you express in this world, and put you in that state. So were I now to see you, as you would like to see yourself, and I remain faithful to that vision of you, I come back next year to encounter you in that state, or you will write me, or others would write me, to tell me of a transformed being that you seem to be. It works that way. Always bear in mind the distinction between you, the immortal you, and the state you occupy. You are the immortal being that one day will be fetched from the furnaces of affliction, and being brought out, you are one with your Father, who is God, and you are He. So Blake, to me, is a spiritual giant, one of the truly awakened gods. And when you meet him, he looks like some super-terrestrial being when you see him. A giant of a man, and yet he wasn't any giant there, but he was radiant. The man is radiant, just completely awake among the gods. So when you're told in the 82nd Psalm, and God has taken his place in the divine council, in the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. Blake is in the midst of the gods. When I travel now, I'm leaving here Sunday, I take back my 3 books. One I brought just to show my friend freedom. The other 2 are my constant companions, and one is Blake, and the other is the Bible. I'll be flying to New York on the 15th of September. I'll be carrying 2 books. One will be Blake, Complete Works, and one will be my Bible. That's all I will be carrying. It's my constant companion. First of all, the joy of reading Blake with his use of English. That fantastic use of English, all weaving in the imagination. And so no one outside of the Bible has given to the world as much as Blake when it comes to the secret of imagining.